Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel, Living in a Ditch. Now, I don't often post here, but I use this channel more when I think I'm probably sailing a little bit too close to the wind for our vlogging channel. So the vlogging channel, I don't really want that to get a ban. This one, as I say, it seems YouTube have been not being very kind to people who are speaking out at the moment, and they've been banning people, so I thought this channel would be best. Anyway, we've got the weekend coming up, haven't we? Which is where all the peasants kiss the elite's arses. So let's talk about the coronation, shall we?
It's all too much. I think you said enough. It stinks hypocrisy to me.
Now then, a lot of this is subjective, my opinion, and I will also give you some facts about what's been happening and what's going to happen over the weekend, where the peasants kiss the elite's arses. Well, let's first get one thing out of the way. Monarchy, am I for or against? Well, during the Queen's reign, I was passive, neither one way or the other really. Certainly wasn't anti-monarchy, and certainly wasn't getting me flags out and waving at the Queen's coronations or the Jubilees and all that sort of stuff. It just not my sort of thing. But I do understand that there's a lot of people that love it, and that love all that pomp, circumstance and pageantry. Especially the Americans, they seem to absolutely love the Queen, and for that I would say that's fine. You know, I think on the whole it was good for the country. And I would also say one thing that I would stand up for the Queen is that she did put country before herself. She carried out her duties impeccably, in my opinion. Others will disagree, but I also think there's a lot of people that will just simply disagree with me because they're jealous of, you know, on a monetary thing and the way they look at that. I wouldn't want to be royal, let's put it that way. I certainly wouldn't want to be the king or the queen. You know, I couldn't even go to the Weatherspoon and have a couple of beers, could I? You know, okay, you get to go and see the world and all that sort of stuff, but then a lot of us can jump on a plane, or used to be able to, and see things, you know. So anyway, I'm going off a little bit there. So yeah, I think overall she was massively beneficial to Great Britain and the United Kingdom. Again, I do understand a lot of people disagree, but there came a point towards the end of her reign that I started to really distrust it, or I began to understand that she never had any power anyway, and there's people obviously pulling strings up above. But I would say fair play to the Queen, previous to what I'm going to tell you now. She had stayed out of politics and out of any massive things of the day, if you know what I mean. She obviously had her opinions, but she stayed non-political, basically, and fair play to her. I couldn't have done that, I'll tell you. Although I'm pretty sure, and ears of have it, don't they, saying that she would have voted Brexit, or she probably did vote Brexit. Rightly so. Anyway, I get to the part where I started to think, wow, it's when she was peddled out to guilt trip the likes of me and others similar to me that didn't want to do this. She was guilt tripping people into taking an experimental procedure, shall we say. Again, we have to be careful what we say again, don't we? Which is ridiculous. Speaking like bloody children just because of YouTube's AI. Well, we can do a video on AI soon as well, I'll tell you. I'm not happy about that either. Anyway, so after that, I thought, and I honestly did think this, and I don't want this to come across as sounding cruel, because it is most certainly not meant in that way, and it's certainly not meant to be derogative to the Queen. I wish she'd died or passed away before COVID, okay? Because I think what she was used for and peddled for during that time was terrible. And I also think what she's had to put up with the likes of Meghan and Harry and Andrew, it was a shame she had to go through that, because she served the country for so long. So yeah, so my opinion is that the monarchy died with Queen Elizabeth II. And now I am anti-monarchy. I'm starting to see things for what they are, maybe a little bit late to the game. A few facts for you, okay? And this is where you can go and look it up yourself, because as I say, I'm not going to sit there and give you all chicken feed on where to go and find the information that I'm telling you. It's out there. It's easy enough to find. You don't have to bloody Google it. Although don't Google, use DuckDuckGo, honestly. Get rid of Google out of your lives as much as you can, although here I am talking on a Google platform called YouTube. Anyhow, Prince Charles, well, obviously he was Prince Charles, now we have to call him King Charles III. Yeah. Has ties to the Whiskey Echo Fox Trot. Again, I have to be careful what I'm saying here, which is ridiculous. Again, having to speak like a child. I probably will say it and I'll let it go. You know, I will say, I'm bound to say it by accident, but let's just see what happens. So yeah, he most certainly has ties with that organisation. Again, easy enough for you to go and find out for yourself. He was also fairly recently had to answer to why one of his charities, his charity, had received, I'm not sure whether it was 1 million or millions from Russian sources. It wasn't all over the press, was it? But when Aaron Banks was allegedly taking Russian money to promote Brexit, which he didn't, by the way, the press were all over it, weren't they? And these are the things, it's these double standards that make my ears prick up. I think, well, hold on. And I think the same for left and right, by the way. So if it was someone like Remain was being allegedly taking Russian money, I'd be wanting to know what's going on. So we just need to clear that up. I do try to be centrist. I don't see myself as right wing, and I certainly don't see myself as left wing. I see myself as a true conservative, liberal conservative, I'd say. But conservatism doesn't exist anymore because the Conservatives are not conservatives, are they? Let's be honest. There is no Conservative Party in this country at the moment. So, anyway, we're going off topic now, aren't we? So, Charles has some dodgy old connections, let's put it that way. He's also a massive advocate of net zero. Net zero. I wish people understood what net zero is, because what they're trying to do is say climate change. They keep pushing climate change and then they just slip in net zero. But then, has anyone actually explained to you what net zero means? Because it doesn't mean that we stop producing CO2. Now, if we stop producing CO2, we all die. Okay, you need to know that. Okay, now another little cherry for you. If you wanted to go out and grow some tomatoes and you want to grow them fairly quickly, you would quite often put them in a greenhouse, wouldn't you? And do you know why you do that? Do you actually know what the principle is of a greenhouse? What happens in that greenhouse? It raises CO2 levels because those plants need that. So that's how growing works. So them trying to cut CO2, I know we're going off it again at the moment, but the CO2 thing is just a non-starter. But what they're basically saying is, let's take F1 for example. Net zero by 2030, proud to be. This is going on about it all the time. So what they're going to do, run their cars on water. What they're going to do, cycle their F1 cars and teams on the backs over the sea and stuff. How are they going to do it? How are they going to move everything? No. Of course, they're still going to use great big bloody airplanes. They're still going to use massive trucks. They're still going to be burning fossil fuels. Okay? Of course they are. So what's net zero mean? What it basically means is they can just plant a few trees and get away with it. That's the basis of it. So there we go. So if you're rich and you've got a private jet, you can still carry on flying it around. Don't matter to you. You just plant a few trees or throw a little bit of money at green projects and stuff like that. But you can still just get on with your life. But what about you there, personally? You, who is only on, a couple of grand a month or whatever. Can you afford to do that? So what happens when they say, okay, you can't go on a plane journey because you've used all your carbon credits, which are bollocks, by the way. What happens then? You can't go and plant a few trees or throw a load of money at a green company, can you? What they're going to do, they're just going to tax you. That's how they're going to do it. Same with all these ULEZ zones and low emissions things. And this all stems from Whiskey Echo Fox Trot and Charlie. Charlie is a staunch supporter of it. So I feel that the people that are going to be sitting there and sucking Charles's bell end during this weekend, people camping out to see it, this is my opinion, remember now, it's like lemmings or like turkeys voting for Christmas. I think, are you lot stupid? I would say with politics, I'd probably measure where someone stands on the stupidity scale rather than left or right, to be honest with you. People who are, and I hate saying this because I know my mum's going to be watching the coronation and lapping it all up. And I'm sorry, but I just think, why? Why? What is your fascination with it? Because he is a see you next Tuesday of the highest order, and I will, again, my opinion here, but I think I'll be proved right. Charles is a very, very, very dangerous person. Honestly, he's a very dangerous person. Go and just look at some of the links. Maybe David Icke was right after all. Like, they're all bloody lizards. Was that what he said? When it? Anyway, I mess around a tad. But yes, this weekend, I think the most worrying part of it for me is what's happened over the last week. Is where where it's been said that during the ceremony, you're going to be asked to pledge your allegiance to the king. Pledge your allegiance, you little peasant. You pledge your little peasant allegiance to an elite. Seriously, are you thinking of doing that? Pledging your allegiance to a Whiskey Echo Fox Trot shill? Seriously? Wow. And then the other thing that's making me laugh about all the money that's obviously being thrown at this. It's funny how they can spend millions upon millions on security and all that sort of stuff, yet they can't stop a few boats coming across the channel, innit? That's strange, isn't it? And again, this to me is all just part of the big jigsaw puzzle that they're trying to screw us on. The other thing that's going to be happening this weekend, as I say, because they were talking about security there, I was getting a bit of that. But regarding security and the money that's going on to it, they've been proudly saying facial recognition will be in use. Slipped in there easily, wasn't it? Facial recognition will be in use. How did they get... I've talked about this before on my vlog, actually, on the vlog couple. So I might as well say it here as well. They have to have caught your face already for there to have to be facial recognition, surely. Okay, you've been being facially recognised every time you've gone shopping. Go and look at the tills when you pay with your credit card, and there's cameras on you, isn't there? And they're this has been reported. They're all in slightly different positions. So over a few weeks of shopping, they'll have got every angle of your face, and there's your facial recognition gets tied to that card. Same with the cars. As you're driving along, you're obviously going past all these cameras. It's obviously taking snapshots, so they can obviously see through the window of your car easily. They're getting your face there, and obviously CCTV all over the place, especially on government buildings. So there you go. So facial recognition is going to be in use. Welcome to 1984 dystopia. What else did I have to say on this? Yeah, I was saying about royalty itself, I guess, the monarchy, and why it's not just Charles that I now have a problem with. The whole thing is awful. You obviously have Andrew. Now I have to say alleged here, because obviously you know what I'm talking about. He's an alleged kiddie fiddler. That's what they're saying, isn't it? Now I don't know whether he is or he isn't. Part of me wonders, and it is just a wonderment, whether he is being ousted out of the royal family for a reason. Did he go against the Whiskey Echo Fox Trot or some of the agendas that are going on, and they used something to try and get him out of the spotlight? Is that what happened? I don't know, because there's been no actual proof of him being a kiddie fiddler, has there? Unless royalty is above the law. Oh yeah, they are above the law, aren't they? Yeah, I see. Do you see where I'm kind of going here? And then of course we have got the Meghan and Harry thing, which is, it's been awful, let's be honest. That woman is awful. I hate it that they pull out the racist card, which it does disturb me that it's, you leave people to get on with each other. It doesn't matter where they're from, what colour they are, what religion they are. You put 10 of us in a room, okay, and we'll all pretty much get on. Most of the time. You get on, you probably, have a bit of a laugh, have a drink or whatever, okay? You put someone like Diane Abbott in the same room, or David Lammy or someone like that, a race baiter, then you'll get division. And that's what I see as division. And I think, again, this is all part of that great big jigsaw puzzle. So yeah, the Meghan thing and the racism thing was ridiculous. She's just a liar. She's a proven liar, and I dislike her. It's got nothing to do. I didn't even know she was black. She ain't black. It's like Gary Lineker, innit, saying he reckoned he looked black. I mean, seriously. I'll tell you, I had the piss taken out of me when I was a youngster because they knew my father was a policeman, so obviously I got bullied for that, and also because I was half Irish, so I was called Thick Mick and all that lot. But did we care? No, I think we've all turned into right pansies now, don't you? I'm not even allowed to say that, am I? Not even allowed to say that. So yeah, what else is going on? I just have to put my little glass on, because I did write just a couple of notes. I just have to make sure. Yeah, I think I've kind of covered it. So, put it this way. There is no way on earth that I will be sucking Charles's dick. I will not be pledging my allegiance to the crown and the heirs and all that lot. I don't want a king anymore. I don't know what would replace it. Do we need a presidency? I think I just touched on it back there. If you just left us all alone, especially the race baiters and all that sort of stuff, if we were just left alone to get along as a public, we would probably all get along really well. In the main. Do you not think? I've always said that. We need small government, and we don't need a load of elites telling us what we can and what we can't do. And we certainly don't want elites that can pay to go and have their holidays and everything all over the place while sticking their thumbs down on our bloody necks, or their feet on our necks, or whatever, elbows on our necks, or whatever. Downtrodden, that's what we are, let me tell you. Sound like a right bloody anarchist now, and but you get what I'm saying. So no, I will not be celebrating the King Charles thing. No, I don't like all this the next thing. I might as well just finish this off with a little bit of more of a rant. Just a quick little rant, a little bit more off subject. I was saying that I measure people's politics by stupidity. And the lowest of the stupid are the people who've still got EU flags in their profile pictures. Or they've got pictures of the Ukrainian flag there. Or they've got FBPE there. Or they've got I clap for the NHS, or I've had my 639th booster. All this virtue signalling shit, they're the lowest of the most stupid. I see them as the most stupid because they've not studied anything. They just thought, I need to do that because what I show on Facebook et al. Is more important than life in itself. It matters what people think of me. Here's a life lesson. It don't. It matters what your loved ones think of you. And it matters how you think about yourself. And there's my message for you. Be proud of who you are, and don't be a dick. And don't suck elites' dicks. Bye.